We often end up in these discussions. A is meant to distract from B. And then someone else comes in and says, no, 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 no. B is actually meant to distract from C and from D to lay the groundwork for E. As I've said before, I've seen no evidence that this administration really has the ability, wherewithal, or attention span to actually think in that more abstract, multi-layered way. And so when I saw this video of Donald Trump saying to wounded soldiers, "So you guys got hit, huh? Amazing." And I saw comments saying this entire fiasco in the Oval Office is meant to distract from the tariff disaster, which we were just talking about. My reaction was, of course it's not. They don't have the ability to coordinate in that way. It was very ugly, though. Here is Donald Trump, not exactly a beacon of empathy and understanding, speaking to wounded service members.
And we all served together.
Wow.
And Jared over there.
And Jared over there.
So you guys,
So
you guys got hit, huh? Pretty good.
Huh?
You got hit.
Pretty good.
Amazing.
We're in a pretty tough area in Kandahar, in the Arkansas River Valley,
Right, it's
outside
tough.
Kandahar.
Their unit had a more than 50% Purple Heart rate, sir,
Wow.
in 2010.
You deserve it. You deserve that and more. We appreciate it so much. Brave, really brave, brilliant people. Thank you very much.
Imagine if Joe Biden said to wounded soldiers, including amputees, "So you guys got hit, huh? Pretty good? You got hit? Amazing." They'd be calling for the immediate removal of Joe Biden if Biden spoke to wounded service members in this way. But it's Trump. So the standards are different, and it just doesn't really matter. Trump talking extensively about the tariffs, and by this point in the day, he had already said the tariffs on China are coming down. Caroline Leavitt has said the tariffs on China are not coming down. And so Trump really struggling to use words in a way that is coherent on the topic of tariffs. It's always 2 weeks away. That's what we've learned from Trump.
Dollars in debt and everything else. And in the end, I think what's going to happen is we're going to have great deals. And by the way, if we don't have a deal with a company or a country, we're going to set the tariff. We just set the tariff. It's something that we think that will happen, I'd say, over the next couple of weeks. What do you say? I think so. Over the next 2-3 weeks. We'll be setting the number.
For
and
China.
we're going to pick, could be for China too, could be for China. Well, we're dealing with almost all of them.
We're going to pick numbers in the next couple of weeks. What does that remind you of? It reminds me of Infrastructure Week, perennial Infrastructure Week. It reminds me of the healthcare plan is 2 weeks away in August of 2020. We still have only concepts of a plan. It reminds me of Melania's papers that are going to be released. There is no strategy here. They have absolutely no idea what is going on, and he has absolutely no idea what he's doing. And he transitioned, he transitioned in terms of the topic he was speaking about, is what I mean. He transitioned off of the tariffs to talking about commemorative coins that people are really going to like.
And I'm going to give you these coins, and I think you're going to really like them. I think they're the best. These are the best coins. And you have your choice. This is gunmetal. I don't know, soldiers like the black, but I think you like this one. It's
Soldiers like the black.
okay. A lot of soldiers like the black. Here you go. What do you like?
I'll go with black.
Huh?
Yeah.
See? I told you.
So Trump handing out coins.
These are choices.
I'll take a black one, sir.
Okay, look at this. Oh, that rarely happens. You're different, huh?
Take a black one, sir.
This is the President of the United States, folks.
There you go.
That's great.
Call the military.
No, but isn't it? I always say the soldiers, they do like it. It's gunmetal. What do we like here?
That's what I heard, that it was
I think
good.
Trump gold is
I'm giving him two.
You know, God, we laugh to avoid crying. We laugh to avoid crying. This is, you know, the MAGA hat, and you see the MAGA hat sitting on the desk there. The MAGA hat has really become a physical embodiment of the humiliation and incompetence that this administration represents. Trump's still confused about how executive orders work, referring to them as legislation.
We were having a little meeting, and at the same time, we're signing some very important legislation, what will become legislation, and right now it's an executive order.
Right. Executive orders, of course, don't become legislation. Now, if you want to be super charitable to Trump, you could say, well, the executive order motivates the House and Senate to put together legislation, which, if passed, would be signed by Trump at some point down. Trump has still no idea how executive orders actually function. And then one of the executive orders that Trump signed is deplorable, which makes it easier for teachers to discipline students, as if that's really what's lacking in our schools.
Yes, sir, we have an executive order on school discipline policies. Under, I believe it was the Biden administration, first Obama and then Biden, the Department of Justice issued guidance that made it almost impossible for schools to enforce adequate disciplinary policies. This created issues in the classroom for teachers and students alike. Basically, they focused on CRT and sort of diversity ideology instead of actually just enforcing the rules in classrooms to ensure a safe learning environment.
You think Trump's already checked out? You think he has any idea what this guy's talking about?
This executive order revokes.
By the way, they always have this dog and pony show where this guy on the left here, this kind of balding gentleman, he always presents the executive orders to Trump to sign almost like a sacrificial offering and explains them in the most deranged, hyperbolic way possible. Anyway, we'll get away from that. Just a couple more. Donald Trump was asked about the steep drop in global tourism to the United States. And Trump goes, not a big deal. He just doesn't care.
There's been a steep drop off in international travel to the United States. It was down 12% last month, down even more from Western Europe. Why do you think that there are fewer people suddenly who want to travel to the United States?
Well, there could be a little, there's a little nationalism there, I guess, perhaps. It's not a big deal, but, with the dollar being where it is, because,
There's been a
Yeah. It's just not a big deal. Ask Ron DeSanctimonious whether it's a big deal. And finally, no Trump press conversation is complete until he uses the word Tesla.
I also know that he was treated very unfairly by I guess you'd call it the public, by some of the public, not by all of it. But he makes an incredible car, everything he does is good, but they took it out on Tesla. And I just thought it was so unfair because he's trying to help the country.
Right.
But he has helped the country. I also want him to make sure that he's going to be in great shape. And I know he is.
Right. We've got to get Elon back to working with Tesla.
I love Tesla.